destination, no goodbye, just horizon passing by. We drive into the open sky, where the waves and daylight collide. Every turn feels so alive. In this moment, we just fly. Soft wind, golden light, drifting through the endless time. Windows down, the ocean breeze, silver light across the breeze, endless blue, it calls my name every mile, a new frame, winding roads along the sea, chasing light, just you and me. We drive into the open sky, where the waves and daylight collide. Every turn feels so alive. In this moment, we just soft wind, golden light, drifting through the endless time. Windows down, the ocean breeze, silver light across the breeze, endless blue, it calls my name every mile, a new frame, winding roads along the sea, chasing light, just you and me. We drive into the open sky, where the waves and daylight collide. Every turn feels so alive. In this moment, we just fly. Cliffs that chasing sandy waves, salty air and open skies, soft horizons in my eyes, hidden paths through emerald green, whispers in the in-between, leaves that dancing golden stream. Nature moves like living dreams, every step a gentle flow, taking time no need to go. We drift along the ocean side, with the sun and turning tide. Every moment feels so free, just this place and you and me. Little cafe by the shore, laughter spilling out the door, coffee warm in coastal breeze. Time is slowing just at ease. Lighthouse standing still and bright, watching over sea and light. We drift along the ocean side, with the sun and turning tide. Every moment feels so free, just this place and you and me. Waves will fade, but we remain in the warmth of this day. Morning light on quiet waves, footprints tracing sandy ways, salty air and open sky, soft horizons in my eyes, hidden paths through emerald green, whispers in the in-between, leaves that dance in golden streams. Nature moves like living dreams, every step a gentle flow, taking time, no need to go. We drift along the ocean side, with the sun and turning tide. Every moment feels so free, just this place and you and me. Little cafe by the shore, laughter spilling out the door, coffee warm in coastal breeze. Time is slowing just at ease. Lighthouse standing still and bright, watching over sea and light. We drift along the ocean side, with the sun and turning tide. Every moment feels so free, just this place and you and me. Waves will fade, but we remain in the warmth of this day. Weightless moments everywhere, nothing left we need to prove, just the night and what we choose. Shadows fall, gently stay. carried by the end of day. Cobblestone beneath my feet, echoes of a distant dream, dust of golden quiet air. Stories linger everywhere, voices carried through the years, hope and struggle, sweat and tears. Lantern light begins to glow. Time moves softly, slow and slow. In the heart of yesterday, I can feel the world you made. Through the silence, through the flame, history still calls my name. Shadows dance in amber light, fragments shining through the night. In the heart of yesterday, I can feel the world you made. Through the silence, through the flame, history still calls me.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Ballarat, people of empire, the soldiers that you see standing before you are dressed in the uniform and the colours of Her Majesty's 40th, 2nd Somersetshire Regiment of Foot. The 40th was formed in Nova Scotia in what became Canada in the year 1717 under the command of Colonel Richard Phillips, who would later become governor of that colony. Since its inception, the 40th has traveled the world in the service of various majesties. It has fought, landed at Abraham Plains, where General Wolfe, though killed during that battle, did help to defeat the French commander, the Marquis de Montcalm, thus claiming Canada for Great Britain! Might like to show a bit more patriotism next time. My men have seen action in the land of the Hindu in India, the land of the Pharaoh in Egypt, and upon the Spanish Peninsula. But perhaps its most glorious moment was upon the battlefield of Waterloo, where the entire regiment of that time was personally congratulated by the Iron Duke himself, the Duke of Wellington, for their brave conduct in that battle. Since that time, we have been relegated to this hot, dusty, God-forsaken part of the world, where we have taken part in gold escort duties. Gold worth more than £53 million has been transported by the 40th from the goldfields to the port of Melbourne. Also, whilst we were here, we took part in a small fracas, known to you locals as your Battle of the Eureka Stockade. Well, let me tell you something, folks, that was not much of a battle. It was all over in about 15 minutes. What you miners failed to realise is that against one of Her Majesty's most highly decorated regiments of the line. Now, in a moment, I will instruct my men to fire off a series of shots in honour and salute to Her Majesty Queen Victoria. God save the Queen!
God save the Queen!
What did I say about patriotism? We will try that again. And might I remind you, my men have just loaded their rifles. God save the Queen!
God save the Queen!
Much better. She'll be very happy. I will also take this opportunity to warn you that this will be quite loud. So it is recommended that you take your fingers and please put them into your ears. If you have a child with you, please ensure that their ears are covered. Otherwise its ears will be ringing, it will be crying, and it will not be my fault. Young wards. Squat, order, arms. Advance, arms. Shoulder, up. Drummers stand fast, firing party one, small face forward, march. Port arms. It's your last warning, fingers in your ears, I am not joking. Squat, present. Arm. Number one. Number two. Number three. Than that. Thank you. How very spontaneous of you. We have now come to one of the more enjoyable parts of today's proceedings, where I'll allow my men to fall out. They will descend from this high place and move amongst you, where you may take a pictorial memorial stood next to one of these pocket-sized Hercules. I will, however, ask, please do not touch my men or any part of their equipment without their express permission. For this, I thank you, they thank you, and Queen Victoria thanks you. Squad, for renegade purposes, form out.
All right, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to photograph the friend code, stay where you are. Do not come to us. No.
I can feel the world you made through the silence, through the flame. History still calls my name. Shadows dance in amber light, fragments shining through the night. In the heart of yesterday, I can feel the world you made through the silence, through the flame. History still calls my name. Golden dust and fading sound, lost and gently found. Cobblestone beneath my feet, echoes of a distant dream, dust of golden quiet air. Stories linger everywhere, voices carry through the years, hope and struggle, sweat and tears. Lantern light begins to glow. Time moves softly, slow and slow. In the heart of yesterday, I can feel the world you made History still calls my name. Shadows dancing in moonlight. Fragments shining through the night. In the heart of yesterday, I can feel the world you made. Through the silence, through the flame, history still calls my name. Golden dust and fading sun, lost and gently found. Cobblestone beneath my feet, echoes of a distant dream, dust of golden quiet air. Stories linger everywhere, voices carry through the years, hope and struggle, sweat and tears. Lantern light begins to glow. Time moves softly, slow and slow. In the heart of yesterday, I can feel the world you made. Through the city breeze in softened tones, neon flickers almost gone. Passing lights like quiet streams, drifting through forgotten dreams. Footsteps slow along the street, distant rhythms soft and deep. Every corner holds a trace of a day we can't replace. We move with the evening air, weightless moments everywhere. Nothing left we need to prove, just the night and what we choose. Windows down, the ocean breeze, silver light across the breeze. Endless blue, it calls my name. Every mile, a new frame. Winding roads along the sea, chasing light, just you and me. We drive into the open sky, where the waves and daylight collide. Every turn feels so alive. In this moment, we just fly. Golden skies and oceans blue, little moments shining through. Every journey leads us to another day with Arena.